Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 3 of the Monday Q&A, so let's do it. The most bro thing you used to practice in lifting and nutrition in the past. Everyone's got something, so no lies please. My biggest bro thing was my post-workout recovery. I am that guy who post-workout, I used to take various types of sugar and my protein shake, usually my whey isolate, combined with an assortment of various amino acids. I don't remember what all I used to put in there, but I used to do like 10 grams of glutamine with my 50 gram of protein post-workout shake, with some type of added sugar and usually other types of free-form aminos. I can't remember now what I used to put in it, but it changed over the years, but I was really big on that. And then when I was slightly bigger and I was using a bit of insulin post-workout, oh yeah, I would immediately, while I was in the gym, I would always bring insulin with me, and I would go pin insulin in the bathroom and then slam my protein shake. So yeah, that was the most bro thing I ever did. And I did it religiously for something like 4 years straight. And at the time, all of the top experts were telling us we needed to do it, even though the science itself was very, very flawed behind it. All right, next question. Hey Jason, I'm having a bit of a hard time engaging my glutes on the squat. I feel a good burn in my quads while squatting, but little or no burn in the glutes. What might I be doing wrong? Thanks. Well, feeling a burn isn't always indicative of anything. I don't get a burn for most of my training, to be honest. You guys have seen what my legs look like. I don't get a burn in my legs when I train them at all, none. I feel the muscles, but I don't get that burn. I only get burns from very high rep training, and my legs don't grow that well off of high rep training compared to the low rep stuff. But if you aren't feeling any activation in your glutes, which again is not something I can relate to, but what I would recommend is that when you're at the bottom of the squat, focus on turning your knees out more. If you can turn your knees out as soon as you start coming up out of the squat and instead of letting them cave back in, it will help you focus on contracting the glutes a bit harder. And that should hopefully resolve this for you. But if you are squatting deep enough and you are bringing the knees out, there's no way your glutes are not being heavily activated and recruited, no matter what it is you actually feel. It's just impossible to do a deep squat without pretty intense glute activation. And so just because you're not feeling a bigger muscle like that in the way that you think you should be feeling it doesn't mean that it's not getting worked or being recruited. So just keep that in mind. All right, next question. What are your thoughts about Prohormones? All right, I'm going to assume the literal term and not the term that has been used also for some designer steroids that aren't actually Prohormones by any definition of the word, because supplement companies used to sell both designer steroids and Prohormones under the term Prohormones. I would say the only advantage you would have is that in some countries they may be legal. But the question that I would ask you is, would you rather be healthier, big and jacked and in prison? Or would you rather be not in prison but laying in a hospital bed getting your liver tumors checked? I would personally rather be healthy and be in prison than be in a fucking hospital bed. Having a doctor tell me that he found 3 new tumors in my livers from my excessive use of stupid-ass Prohormones. That's an easy choice, guys. Prison or a fucking hospital bed. If it happens to be illegal in your country, so clearly you would just use the illegal shit rather than the really dangerous stuff. Now, that being said, no, Prohormones are not good. While they work, they are dramatically more toxic than most anabolic steroids, and particularly ones that exhibit no toxicity, because zero measurable toxicity versus large amounts of toxicity, we can't even multiply that. It's a billion times higher. But even most of the toxic ones, most Prohormones are more toxic, measurably so. They produce inferior results because you're reliant upon their conversion into an anabolic steroid rather than just using the anabolic steroid. It's an inefficient process. It doesn't always work as effectively in everyone, and the process itself puts a massive strain on your liver. So, and oftentimes they're even more expensive. You guys would be really shocked at what pharmaceutical grade testosterone costs compared to some of these over-the-counter products. And so ultimately, Prohormones, not looking at the legality from country to country, because it does vary massively. In a lot of the countries that listen to my channels, anabolics are perfectly legal, including my own country. So you're looking at generally a higher cost, less gains, and a far, far more negative effect on your health. So why anybody would use them is beyond me. Because again, if it comes down to the legality issue, I would rather be in prison than be in a fucking hospital bed. So I don't understand the logic there. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So no, I don't condone their use. I don't recommend their use. I think that if people want to do the stuff, they need to do the real deal. And when people come back to the point of, well, I'm scared of needles, well, then you don't need to be juicing anyways, because you're always going to want a testosterone base most of the time, with few exceptions, which will require you to inject even if you're taking a handful of orals. Alright guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.